Welcome to another one of my episodes on all the affiliates and services that go into a real estate transaction. And today I have Ben Kohn from Sinks to Sewers. Hey Ben, how are you?
Hey Rosie, I'm doing fine, thank you.
Wonderful. So Ben, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, here local in Ventura, started back in May of actually 2010, so I just hit my 10-year mark.
Oh, congrats.
And
Happy anniversary.
right, thank you so much. And what I do is I'm still a licensed plumber, but I've actually stopped doing plumbing, stepped away from that a bit. And now what I've decided to do was focus on sewer inspection and drain cleaning.
Okay, awesome. And obviously I'm bringing you on to one of my real estate episodes. So give me an idea, tell me how you play a role in the real estate transactions. Obviously you've received a few calls from me when I've sold homes in specifically Ventura, even though your services obviously are available, I'm assuming anywhere in Ventura County.
Yes. Well,
I know that was kind of a couple questions, right? Sorry.
Right. My service area is from Camarillo to Ojai to Port Hueneme in that big triangle. So
Okay.
obviously Oxnard and Ventura are included with that. My role is for Ventura and Ojai Valley Sanitation Department, which includes Oakview, Casita Springs, is that whenever you are selling your home, you have to have a sewer line inspected. And where most of the real estate community, and so that's why I have many realtors who call me. Now, one of the things is that since doing these, realtors have really understood in the past 6 years that this has started since 2014, how much sewer inspections protect the client. And when you're making the biggest purchase of your life, for many of us, that this is one of these things that we really want to know, because other than something like a structural condition of a home, having a sewer line repair or a drain issue can often be probably the most costly repair that has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing you want to do after, for the average buyer, when they get into a home, a lot of people, especially these days, they're really stretching themselves just to get into the home. The last thing you want to do is have a bunch of repairs. Now, for me specifically, I know you have a triangle that you cover, and anybody, and an average person can have an issue and call you. Obviously, I primarily use you in my real estate services, but tell me why, for me, Ventura is like the big trigger. Like if I'm selling a house in Ventura, it's like I'm calling back.
So back in 2014, February 2014, Ventura passed an ordinance that stated anytime you sell your home within the past 10 years, you have to have what's called a PSL inspection performed. And a PSL stands for private sewer lateral, and it's the pipe that for your sewer line that goes from the outside of the building all the way to the city connection. Where a lot of homeowners sometimes get tripped up is that they don't understand that's to the city connection, which is often in the middle of the street. It doesn't stop at the sidewalk. So that has been one of the, so that is now part of the, and you're going to be able to fill in the correct term on this, but the contingency, the terms, the disclosures, the inspection reports, like you request like a termite inspection, a home inspection. This is one of the same inspections that are performed and requested. The only difference is now it's not on the option of someone to do it. It's now there's an ordinance for it, that it has to be done within the past 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we're instructed as one of the required inspections that we have to give are, because some and several of the inspections are optional. The buyer can ask for anything, but there's certain things that we're required to do. Like we have to have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and depending on the rooms, there's so many that are required. And the sewer for Ventura is one that is required for us to give to our buyers. Why would you say Ventura seems to be where there's more issues? Maybe not more issues, but some of the older homes, there's obviously something happened and there's a reason why we're required to give this report.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So, understood, understood. So there was a couple big things that started with this. Um, and one of them, and this is something, one of them I know 100% about. The other one is, I've heard it so much, I actually, but essentially there was a lawsuit concerning Ventura and a high bacterial count in the beaches. And it was found that Ventura um, wasn't doing enough to protect its coastal waterways. Now, how does this tie into sewers? Is that what? And then I'm going to hit pause on that. Keep that thought. How does this tie into sewers? The second one was we had something called the EPA Clean Water Act, which President Obama had done, and that EPA Clean Water Act said that you have to protect your waterways. Once again, how does this apply to sewers? We're talking about the waterways. So what happens is in a sewer is that when it rains or when there's an overflow, the overflow of the sewage, if the sewer plant cannot handle it, what it does is it just dumps the raw sewage out into the local body of water. And this is done all throughout America. This is something that's, unfortunately, it's very common. And so there was a big push to separate the storm water, the water which is on the street, like, from the sewer pipe. So if you ever look at the curb and it says, you see that sign that says, this goes to our local waterways, please do not litter.
Mm-hmm.
That pipe is never connected to the sewer line. So that's very important. So what ended up happening with the bacteria count is that when the sewer lines were not being maintained, sewage would overflow, it would be on the ground, it would eventually rain, it would go down to the beach. And that was one of the contributing factors. So this is one of the reasons why Ventura has this, Ojai Valley Sanitation. Ojai Valley Sanitation has a slightly different process. And it's not just our area, but it's starting to come up everywhere in the past 6 years that I've seen this really take off.
And I know when you've done some of the inspections for me, you're looking to see obviously if the pipe is damaged, if there's roots around those pipes, if they've entered the pipes, basically, damaging them. And so I guess that's where when the pipes are damaged, it's now
Yeah.
releasing sewer that'll eventually, okay, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Well,
Go ahead.
so this is like where a lot of people actually get tripped up because we think that the problem is the sewage going in the ground. That's not the problem at all. Otherwise, we would just, stop farming. Everyone,
Yeah.
right? I mean, someone would be walking behind their horse or their goat or their chicken with a bag. And that's not the problem. The problem is that the groundwater that is the water in the ground leaches into the sewer pipe through the defects, through the holes, and it ends up getting treated as sewage. This is the big reason why Ojai has that different process than Ventura. In Ojai, you're not allowed to have roots in the sewer pipe to meet the certification because they have a higher groundwater table. In other words, if you were to dig a hole 10 feet into the ground in Ojai, you're going to hit water. If you dig a hole in Ventura, it might take you 30 feet. So that's the big difference right there. That's why there is a big difference. And whoever you call to have your inspection done, it's really important that they're up to date on the laws and the guidance and to try to give the real estate community and homeowners the best information possible.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know a sewer issue could end up costing a lot of money. I've seen foundations pulled up because there was a leak and you have to find it, right? Certainly not something we want to deal with. So, definitely, I mean, disclosures and reports just continue to grow when somebody's purchasing a home. I think we all want to have this idea that we're purchasing a new home and it's new to us, but what has that house been through?
Yeah, such a good point. And it really does complicate things when the sewer inspection does, there are issues that are found, that are observed, We found something we weren't expecting. Somebody did a remodel. This is always, someone remodeled the entire home. They did nothing to the sewer pipe because it was underground. But what I found and what I've discovered is that the really good realtors, yourself, just say, okay, we're going to negotiate on it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out the process. We're going to protect the client. This is not a problem. It's just one more step, but ultimately this is protecting the client, not only the person buying the home, but also the person selling, because nobody wants to get blamed after the fact of, or get a phone call that says, you knew you had a sewer issue, you never disclosed it, or any of that. And so it was hard to get to this point, but I think there's been a big change in the perception of sewer inspections, drain inspections, and it does really protect the client. So
Absolutely. Well, and sometimes, and I've seen this a lot in just homeowners, not even with a purchase sale, but right now with like COVID, right? You might have an older home, a single old lady lives in it, but then a family moves in. So yes, the sewer worked and it's old, but then a family moves in, and now that the usage has gone up, kind of like right now with COVID. I live in new housing tract, and my neighbors, I've seen, truck after truck of new appliances or, plumbers coming, and it's like, what's going on? These are new homes. But, suddenly the usage went up because of the COVID, and, we're seeing a lot of issues. And I think that's exactly what happens a lot of times in some of these home purchases. You have a family come in to a house that was occupied by one person, now 5, 6, and things change. That's also why it's so important, right, to do the home warranty, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And doing those reports, having that peace of mind, I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And at least you know what. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just in total agreement with you. Everything that you're saying, especially when you brought up, the different lifestyle or the different family size between the seller and the buyer. That's huge. It's so often where someone selling the home is in a more mature stage of their life.
Yes.
The kids have moved out. Maybe they're going to college. Maybe they want to downsize. And the people who are moving in have the new family or starting their life, but they have a different water usage. And so
Yes.
just because the older, or the more mature family didn't have problems doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. And the thing about it is that I've seen very few sewer problems that were observed or discovered that completely just stopped the transaction. Because what I've seen more of, it's where you got the bad news, you got to digest it, you got to, I often see the buyers kind of step away for a day. They just think about it, and then they just figure out how to go from there. But at least they know what they're getting. That's
Yes.
the important thing about it. They know what they're buying. And so when there is a sewer problem, they're like, yeah, we kind of knew this was going to happen. This was, yeah, we try to make it go as long as possible, but it didn't. So I guess it's finally time to get it fixed.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, no, but
Just
yeah,
as good as any, and especially because sometimes you're right, homeowners put it off and they think there's an issue or maybe isn't, or they just, we get accustomed to living in certain ways, and then it
yes.
comes up and it's like, okay, now we have to take care of it. Awesome. So Ben, I know I use you a lot for work, but anybody can use you at any time. And if somebody wanted to contact you direct, is that something they can do?
Oh, of course, yes. And the thing about it is you don't even have to be in my social network, or not my social network, but you don't even have to use me for your inspections. If you're just somebody who has a question about this, has a question about a clogged drain, if you're not sure if my services would help you or fit you, or you're just, you know, just want to say, what is the difference between Ojai and Ventura? There's my phone number. Give me a call. I'm happy to discuss. And at the end of the day, it's all big circle here in the local community. And what helps out one person helps out the other. And so I'm not like trying to keep the information quiet. Just give me a call. There's so many people, so many realtors who will just use me for a second opinion. where they'll have somebody who replaces their sewer, because I don't replace sewer pipes. I inspect them, I clean them like you saw in the logo. I inspect, I clean, I verify. If anything, I probably talk more people out of replacing their sewer line than into replacing their sewer line.
Huh, that's
But
interesting.
I swear to you, I got a pretty bad track record of selling sewers. But the thing about it is, though, is that I'm always available. If somebody has a question, if they just don't know, give me a call. And what I would encourage someone to do, if after watching your video, take a look at my own channel, From Sinks to Sewers, on YouTube and on Facebook. And there's a couple videos that I've put out, and there's a big, sewer inspections are unknown. You could sell anybody anything depending on how you want to word it. And the thing about it is, it's a cost that's thousands upon thousands of dollars potentially.
Yeah.
And there's no return in value. It's not like a car where somebody buys a new car for $40,000, they have a new car in their driveway. If someone spends $40,000 on a new sewer line, their toilets are still going to flush the same way as they did the week before. So
Yeah,
how do you
nobody
really
sees
know?
it.
So how do you really know that things were fixed correctly? How do you know that people did what they said that they were going to do? So that's the reason why I get requested to do a lot of second opinions on, we had a plumber, this is what he said, this is what we did. We like him, we want to use him, but can you just make sure everything is on the up and up?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well,
100%.
and that's awesome because, it's very scary whether you're selling a home or just are having issues and you get, unfortunately, I think I see a lot of fraud where, is the work really needed or are they just needing a job? So it's good that you're doing the second opinion. And is it, do you need to do it now? Could it wait, 5 years, to offset the cost, save for it? And that's a big problem with the home is you don't see the guts of it, right? You don't see the sewer, you don't see the guts, the walls, what did or didn't happen. And right now I'm especially seeing a lot of young folks, they want the house that looks move-in ready, right? They want the painted cabinets, the new, all aesthetic, but they really don't know what else has gone in, and that could cause a lot of issues. So again, reports, disclosures are so important. But awesome. So, and obviously you're working during these COVID times, you're an essential worker.
I am, and one of the things that's kind of interesting about the way that I work is I almost never have to come inside of a home to do an inspection or to clean the drain. Usually I do it from outside. Usually I actually work from the roof a lot of times. And so I don't need to come inside someone's home. Someone can mail me a check if they want. They don't even need to see me. Many times when I do my inspections, the home is vacant. There's nobody even there. I'm just given an address and, an address, who to send the check to, and that's it. And
Show up and dig around.
Yep. And it's and the trust to work like that is really sincerely, it's appreciated, it's respected. And because it means a lot that so many people trust me in that way.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we need is partners that we know we could just send out and we don't have to worry about if they did or didn't do the work. It's a transaction. I'm in right now a whole different scenario, not with the plumbing, but one of the repairs that should have been done is being questioned. And that's you don't want to have to deal with that. You want to just hire people, know that it's done, and move on, right? That's all we want. Very fun.
Right, exactly. No, you're exactly right. And unfortunately, sometimes those myths get perpetrated by the people doing the work. And so you always have to go back to whoever's in charge and say, okay, what is the real guidance here? Half of my job is just demystifying sewer inspections, unfortunately.
Hey, well, obviously it's needed. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. And obviously, for those of you listening in, if you want to reach out to him direct, if you're selling a home and just want that second opinion, or need some work and questioning if it is or isn't needed, please contact him.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity just to speak. And, you brought up so many great points, and Yeah, it was. It was. I know I talked a lot, but believe it or not, I had to talk less because you were bringing up so many good points.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.